It's quite amazing that some charger locations don't care who parks there. I had a recent experience at Aldi where someone with a diesel car said he was there to charge it, and he wasn't. But someone here has decided to do the opposite. They've decided to try and keep these for EVs to use. And we have a sign at last. Parking Eye. If you're like me, you've already had a penalty from them sometime in the past. And Parking Eye in operation, EV charging only, £100 fine if not charging in bay for longer than 10 minutes. So even I can't park here while I film unless I'm charging. I'm Dave, welcome to Dave Takes It On. So we're here today, we're on Charnock Richard services. We're northbound on the M6 just outside Preston. We've been filming for the day down south on the M62 and we've decided to stop off here, lunch break. So when we stopped, this was the first thing we noticed. Now, coincidentally, following my experience at Aldi, if you haven't seen that video, by the way, we'll put a link for that one down below so you can have a look at that one. We've had a couple of others. Where was the last one? Rugby. If we can find that one, we'll put a link as well. But it's a common problem. Many of my viewers do actually say it's a real issue. They've constantly found they're not available to use as an EV charger. Coincidentally then, I actually emailed Parking Eye less than a week ago after my experience at Aldi and just said, what's your policy? If you come to a bay like this and it is a car park that is under your control, this one obviously is, then how would you find someone here? Do you have cameras watching it? I also asked them if one of my viewers was to actually turn up here, find an ICE car in the bay, took photographs of it to show that there's no driver in it, it is locked up, took photographs of the bay, took photographs of the signage, and then waited a couple of minutes and took another photograph to show that it's not just for a second, it is actually parked there. And if the viewer then sent those photographs to Parking Eye, would they be able to issue a £100 fine to that car, even though they didn't catch him at the time? I'm still waiting for a reply for that. But when we stopped here, we parked here, and we always intended to do some filming here anyhow. That was the first thing caught my eye. Bright red, you can't miss it. So you've got to think, Parking Eye, this is their job. It's finding people who park in the wrong place and then finding them. That's how they make their money. I suppose they make some from renting out their services to the users here. So anyhow, so they're the experts in this matter. So I'm waiting to hear back from that, but this is interesting in the meantime. My own opinion, they may have cameras here watching these and actually will be very active, because £100 just for someone parking in the wrong place, if you do that 5, 6, 7 times a day, that's quite a little business for them. So that's an aside. But even so, what I would suggest, whether or not they got cameras here, that sign on its own is going to now make people think twice before parking here. There is no excuse anymore. Oh, it's next to the store. Oh, there's no sign. Oh, I thought it was empty and I thought I'd only be 2 minutes, etc., which is what we get. Here there is absolutely no doubt. That is quite a dramatic statement. Now, to follow these up, I've been into the services here, and these are Apple Green electric chargers, and we've spoken to the welcome brake, and the first thing we found out, welcome brake is Apple Green is welcome brake. It's just one company now. So Apple Green, who a couple of years ago didn't exist over here, now own welcome brake, so it's all one franchise. The manager's not in at the moment. I spoke to the duty manager, very helpful, left my card, so we're waiting to see a bit of feedback from that. What I asked him very specifically was, did the motorway services, Apple Green or welcome brake, did they ask Parking Eye to put the signs up to try and prevent people icing and blocking the EV chargers? Or was that something that Parking Eye, when they did their survey of the car park, recommended to the services? The reason there's a difference is if the manager here actually said to Parking Eye, can you put the signs up, we're going to have a problem, it means that any of my viewers anywhere in the country, if you come across an EV charger that you actually can't use, have a word with the manager, or better still, pass your details on to me. I've got a little bit more experience, a little bit more weight maybe in this. I will happily go in and talk to any manager anywhere, any director, CEO, doesn't worry me. And what we can do is, if you have a location which is a regular site where it's being blocked, I will get in touch with the manager and we will try and ask the manager if he will get these signs put up. Now, that's the first stage. I don't know if that's enough. I think legally, if there's a sign there and you park here, that's all the legal requirement that Parking Eye needs to issue the parking notice, and it's £100 fine. So at that point, once the signs go up, if any ICE car does park here, if I or anyone else was to take photographs of it with that in the background and send them to Parking Eye, and we would need to do something, and this is what I asked in the video, is if we, someone could say, oh, I stopped there for 1 second just to adjust my seatbelt and then pulled out. So we would need to literally take a photograph of it, wait a minute or so, and then take another photograph, because every photograph, every video that we take nowadays, it's all got what's something called metadata. It's the time, the date, the stamp, the location, it's everything about it. So from those two photographs, if they're say 5 minutes apart, and it shows the car with no driver in it for 5 minutes, this one says 10 minutes. So in this case, 10 minutes apart. But if that's enough, then we EV drivers who are inconvenienced by having ICE cars blocking our bays can now get our own back. We can send letter after letter, copy of photographs to Parking Eye, and these idiots who park here go, ha, look how good I am. They're going to get a £100 fine the next day. Wow, this is really good news. We're going to follow this one up. I've got an email there. I'm just waiting for an answer at the moment. Not heard back at the moment. But if that's all it takes to get icing stopped, then let's get a movement going. So viewers out there, if you have any experiences of this, if you know of a location where they're regularly happening, could be a supermarket where the charging bays are really close to the door, could be a car park where they just park there deliberately wherever it is. Get in touch, comments down below, got the email address, that's in the description as well. So let's really get a bit of a movement together, and we don't park our cars in garages and block the petrol pumps. Why on earth should they park in our EV bays? They shouldn't. Let's get all this going. So comments below, please, photographs if you've got them. Let's really get this movement going and see if we can solve this once and for all. If the ICE car drivers are so scared of getting £100 fines, maybe one day they'll stop doing it. I don't know. Anyway, Apple Green. We've been here a little while. There are 8 individual chargers here. Each one is a dual bay. These are actually 180 kilowatts. We've covered these before. 180 kilowatts and CCS2 only. So these are really good ones. They've obviously got contactless, RFID. There's an app as well, and it's quoting at the moment 72 pence. If you use the app, it's 72 pence. I think if you use contactless, it's 77 pence. So there is a difference. I had a big issue with these a while back because the app sort of wants to know all your personal details, name, address, phone number, date of birth, everything. And I just refused to do it. So I wasn't able to use the app. Why a EV charging company wants to know my date of birth or, yeah, that's another matter anyhow. But these are rather good. But unfortunately, as you can see, they're not the most popular of chargers. This is the M6. This is a very busy route north up into Scotland and down to the Midlands. and you would have thought these would get better usage. Since we've been here, we've seen a total of 4 cars charging here, and we have come from Burton Wood on the Tesla superchargers, and that one we probably saw 4 cars a minute in and out. It was really quite busy. So these good chargers. Oh, we got another one. No, we haven't. He's just using it to park. So good chargers, a bit dear on the price. We got, I think it's 4 now. No, 3. 3 chargers actually being used. So going to wander down, have a quick chat with them. Not on film. We never approach people with the cameras running. It's just really bad etiquette that you're automatically putting them on camera. So we'll go down. We'll have a chat with them, and we'll see how they like it. And some of them might want to go on camera. I don't have any shame, any fear. I just go up and talk to people. It's what I do. I suppose one day I'm going to get a punch on the nose, but what the hell. I've just been down and had a word with someone charging here. We were sat in the car planning this video itself, and we saw one car pull in here and then seemed to have trouble, and then pulled out of here, pulled down the bottom, and then it's been down the bottom for some time. So we assumed this charger didn't work. That one did, so they've charged. Anyway, I went over, met a nice young lady. Young, don't take that as a total compliment. I'm old, so everyone's young to me. So I met a nice young lady. She come off from Brighton. She got an ID3 Pro. She did have trouble here. She said all the way up, she's stopped, she's charged, she's had no trouble at all on this particular charger. This is charger number 1 here, and there's two bays, A and B. And she said she did actually plug it in, but it didn't work. And she believes, she may be wrong, but she believes she probably did things in the wrong order. You should plug in first and then pay, or pay then plug in. It does, I don't know. Anyhow, she didn't have a really good experience. Pulled in over there, little bit of hassle, and then it suddenly started charging. And she's had a full charge and she's away. She's only had the car for 5 months. So before that, it was a really old Mini. And she got it because it's cheaper. She's not totally convinced that EVs are the final answer. So like an awful lot of people, and like videos I've done, she did the sensible thing. Take out a 2-year lease. Just lease the car for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, you just hand it back. If EVs have crashed and they're no longer around, you just hand it back. If the value's halved, doesn't matter, depreciation, you just hand it back. Just take 2 years of driving around in an EV. It'll do 2 things. It will pass that time, and in that time there will be technological advances. They may become now, I don't know, 1,000-mile range, and some of the people who said when they get up to 1,000 mile I'll have one, you could be there. You could also find, don't think so, that EVs have crashed. They're not making them anymore. In which case, you've still got your EV for 2 years on a lease. At the end of 2 years, you hand it back, and if it's worth £5, it's not your problem; it's their problem. So a 2-year lease to take you through a period of uncertainty makes an awful lot of sense to an awful lot of people. The same thing it does if you're doing a 2-year lease is it gets you used to an EV car, so you know now what to look for and what to look not to have. And that means if the next car you buy, you're going to actually buy it, it means you'll make a much more informed choice. So that's it. So she's on her way to Scotland now. So this is quite a road trip. She had the car for 5 months on the way from Brighton up to Scotland in an EV for the first time. Loving the experience, loving the car, loving the cost. The cost of charging is really cheap. Even when you're at Apple Green Electric, it's still cheap. Particularly if you charge at home most of the time, and you just find on a few occasions you have to pay more. So that's it. We've just had a meal in there, for example, on day out filming. We know it's dearer here than if we went to the local one just a couple of miles up the road. Convenience. We'll pay an extra £1 or so. Doesn't worry us, it's the convenience. And it's the same with these chargers. Everyone knows these are not the cheapest you can find, but hey, if you're stopping here, just plug in, put a little bit of charge in, and then on your way. That's it for John and Richard. First time for a while, got my coat on. It's actually raining, a little bit of misty rain, misty drizzly rain. It wasn't forecast, we were hoping for a good day today, but I do it for you. I'm Dave.
We want to thank you for watching along as Dave takes it on. And if you like what we do, all we ask of you is to click that like and subscribe to follow along.